My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Lost Ollie. Now, this show is about a toy who's been separated from his owner and he's trying to find his way back to him. Now, I always say that there are certain stories that have been perfected that any attempt to do something similar will always be compared to them. For example, every shark movie will be compared to Jaws because Jaws perfected it. Every dinosaur movie will always be compared to Jurassic Park because Jurassic Park perfected it. And any movie about toys trying to find their way to their owner will always be compared to Toy Story because Toy Story perfected it. And this show just feels like a hollow imitation of Toy Story at best. It is 3 times the length of any individual movie, and it's a fraction of the depths. If you want to watch this kind of story, just watch Toy Story 1, 2, or 3. There's no reason to watch this, ever. And even though it's just 4 episodes long, each episode being about 45 minutes long, there's still no reason for this to be a miniseries. It is so obviously stretched out. At absolute max, it should have been a 90-minute long movie. And it just manages to be incredibly slow and boring. There's no ounce of energy or personality to the show. And I truly don't believe that kids will like this. I think it's far too slow and uninteresting to catch any kid's attention. Also, the one big thing about this show that made me want to watch it is that I heard it was stop motion mixed with live action. And after watching it, I don't believe that for a second. If you know me, you know I love stop motion. I hear the word stop motion, I'm instantly interested, and I'm probably going to love it just based on the fact that it's stop motion. But not once does it actually look or feel like stop motion animation. It looks 3D animation, and if it turns out I'm incorrect and everything I read is correct and it is stop motion, then it's the most stylistically empty stop motion I've seen in my entire life. I don't even think as 3D animation, it's all too good. It just looks so generic. There's no level of style to it. And I don't think the combination of real life and animation is convincing in the slightest bit. There are just moments where the toys are running around a hospital and nobody even notices them. In Toy Story 2, one of my favorite movies of all time, we get that hilarious scene where they're trying to cross the street. So then they go into the pylons and they create a major traffic accident, and it's absolutely hilarious. And not once do you get anything on the level of that here. They just walk among the humans and somehow the humans don't see them. I just think that's a very uninteresting choice. It makes it feel like there's 2 separate realities. And I also found the story to be very predictable. There was a few twists and turns here, and I saw everyone coming from a mile away. It never caught me by surprise once, and I'm usually not good at predicting stuff, so that's how you know it's very predictable. And this show is just trying so hard to be this emotional, heartbreaking show, and not once did it succeed at that, and it just feels way too over the top, very corny, very cheesy, and not in a good way. And it doesn't help that lots of the performances I have found to be way too over the top, especially Gina Rodriguez. Just every time you see the mom character, she's smiling in a very over the top fashion, she's laughing in an over the top fashion, she's playing with her kid in an over the top fashion. It's just way too excessive to the point where I don't believe it for a second. And then you've also got Jake Johnson, who I like as an actor, but he just got nothing to do here. I won't say he's good, I won't say he's bad, he's just not given enough material to work with. You've got yourself Kessler Talbot, who I thought was quite bad as Billy. You've got Jonathan Groff, who voices the main toy, Ollie, and I love Jonathan Groff in Hamilton, but in every movie or show I've seen him in, he's been very lacking, and that's the case here. I don't think he has any bit of personality, and I never cared about Ollie as a character. You've also got Tim Blake Nelson, who, I don't know, I guess he does a fine job, but his character wasn't really all too interesting. And it also takes me off because there's one episode where it begins with his backstory, and it takes like 20 minutes, and it's just excessive. Lotso had a much better emotional backstory in Toy Story 3 in like 5 minutes max. There's no reason for this guy's backstory to be as long as it is. Like, time is valuable, and sometimes shows and movies respect your time and everything has a purpose, or sometimes they just drag things out unnecessarily, and this show definitely does that. And you've also got Mary J. Blige, who's just given nothing to work with. So I didn't care or root for any of the characters. I don't think the actors elevated anyone. And my last complaint that I'll talk about is there's a character who sees something at the very end of this show, and I just don't know for the life of me how he would see him. It's very convenient. But look, I know lots of people love this. I thought it was awful. I hated this. It was a complete waste of time. Everything that this show is trying to do and say, Toy Story does it infinitely better. With much memorable and likable characters, with a level of depth that this show never reaches, with some real emotion. So if you can watch those movies, why would you go watch a lesser version of it? It's way too long, it's way too slow and boring. I don't think any kids are going to like this. None of the voice performances or the acting is good. It's trying way too hard to be this heartbreaking, emotional show, and it comes across as self-parody on just how sappy it is. I also didn't like the 3D animation. So yeah, this show did nothing for me. I'm going to go ahead and give Lost Ollie a 2 out of 10. Okay, did you see Lost Ollie? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.